Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to a brand new Big Cherry Retro React here on
The ankle.
Hey Amber.
I hit you like I'm young.
Hello, honey. The ankle's a little mean.
So, good day everyone. I hope everyone's having a good one. Thank you so much for tuning on in. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, like and subscribe, become a ton. So, for today's video, we are taking a look at I have anxiety panic disorder. Story time. Eye roll. We haven't really heard her talk too much about like the panic side of her anxiety, but I do find this interesting that it's around the time when Destiny was getting panic attacks. So, it's always interesting timing. But hey, we're gonna listen to the story, see what she's got for us. She's always constantly changing the story of like her mental health and diagnoses and shit like that, so who knows. Also, I'm filming this before she does her members only live stream on Tuesday, February 18th. So I'm not sure what's happening with that. Give me a sec, I'll check. No, so she did post on her community tab yesterday that there is going to be a live stream tonight at 7:30 her time. So that's like 9:30 here, I think. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a paying member. You ain't going to catch me giving money to a PDF. No, thank you. But we already went over the title. That's right. Yappin', all that to say, thank you so much, guys. As always, I know there were a few recent merch orders, and I want to tell you guys, because some of you have been waiting a minute on it, I accidentally bought the wrong ink. So I was like, why the hell does it keep washing out? Never had this issue before. Let me try heat setting it longer, turning up the heat even more. Like, let me reprint it like twice. And then I figured out I got the wrong ink. So, new ink coming in tomorrow morning. I am going to get those out. I apologize, you guys. With all that, thank you so much. And let's dive right on into this, shall we?
Hey guys.
Hey Amber.
So I wanted to share something really personal with you.
Why? Why? And make a whole freaking video for it?
And it's me talking about the first time I ever had a anxiety/panic attack.
Interesting, because she didn't claim this ever. And now all of a sudden we're talking about it. And even during like Beck era, I don't think she really ever talked about this quote unquote panic disorder before.
And kind of how it grew from there, and the things that I went through while having anxiety panic disorder. So
see, and just the way that she says it, anxiety panic disorder, that alone tells me she has no idea what the hell she's talking about.
The first time I ever had an anxiety attack, I was living in Oklahoma. I was in foster care my whole life, so I was really used to being under like strict conditions. I always knew I had a roof over my head, food in my mouth.
Okay, so you knew some stability.
Just people to take care of me, whether we got along or not. I just always...
See? Something tells me, dude, that it wasn't all peaches and cream. And I wouldn't expect it to be, but I don't know. It says a lot to me that as far as we know, her brother stayed in the same foster home the entire time. She was the one that was, not to put it very nicely, being passed around from foster home to eventually to group homes. So,
knew I had that security, and I turned 18 and I really wanted to be with my mother, who was in Oklahoma. So I did everything to...
Oh, but I thought you were living with them before that. No?
be with the family that I thought that I wanted to be with. And so I moved from
Until you got kicked out of there.
California to Oklahoma, and I moved without my brother, which was freaking traumatizing.
You hadn't been living with your brother for how long?
So I was pretty much on my own. I felt like that. I was
Amber, sorry. This is going to be a lot of pausing, but if you didn't have to get a job when you were living at your grandma's, then no, you weren't on your own. It wasn't just, oh, little Amby off on her own, making her own life for herself. You said it yourself, dude. You were crashed up in your bedroom at her place drinking like 6 cups of coffee a day.
living with family, but it was chaos, absolute chaos. Like, I thought my mom didn't do drugs anymore, but she did, and my aunt was. Her and I bumped heads a lot.
Yeah. Her aunt did come out and say that Amber was making it extremely difficult for her mother to keep her sobriety. So,
Of course, her children would take up for her because no matter what
that's their mom. What the fuck are you talking about?
kind of wrong she did, they always thought she did right. And
You're so twisted. You're so twisted, Amber.
and I was the one, I was like that black sheep of the family, like.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
I was new in the family, and it was.
The thing is, Amber, no, you weren't new. You weren't new. They knew about you, okay? There's no way that she didn't know her sister had a fully grown daughter and multiple other kids. They knew about you. Just didn't want anything to do with you.
Just this whole thing. So a lot of arguments happened.
And of course, she's making it seem like she had absolutely no part in it. I'm not saying all the blame was on her, because obviously she comes from dysfunction. But, like, we know how difficult Amberlynn is to be around. So we can just imagine that she definitely aided in a lot of the arguing there. I'm sure.
It I can actually say for once in my life, the things that happened there were not my fault. And
oh. Bam! And that is the nail in the coffin. Thank you, Amber.
I remember one time.
If Amber says it ain't her fault, then you know damn well it was the bitch's fault.
I was trying to stick up for my mother because my mom is my mom. No matter how much harm she did in my life, I still I love her unconditionally, and I would stick up for her for like anything. And
that's not the story that other people have shared. So.
And I had the flu that day. And my aunt kicked me out and kicked my mom out, and we're like, shit, where are we gonna go? And my grandma lived in Oklahoma as well. I didn't really know these family that well, but.
So you were homeless with your mother at one point? Why would you get kicked out while being sick? Something must have happened.
I moved in with my grandma with my mom, and my grandma was so. Oh my god. She.
Watch it.
Would lie about having cancer, and she would lie about everything. And
Amber. Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, so we're going on smear campaign of grandma. So obviously they probably fought a lot. Jesus.
And she was cheating on my grandpa. It was
shit that you do not need to be saying online, girl. Jesus.
It was just a mess, like a hardcore mess.
That's real rich coming from you. At least she probably paid for that house over her head, okay? Can you say that?
I was rarely there, and I had to deal with,
You wouldn't have had to if you had a job, so if you were rarely there as well, you know? just there to basically eat your meals and go to bed at night. Probably would have been a lot less issues, Amberlynn.
Some issues with my grandpa that I do not want to talk about. It was kind of traumatizing, to be honest. And
Giving major side eye. Major side eye.
just so much was happening so quickly. Like, me and my grandma would argue all the time because she would lie about her illness, and she was like trying to force me to smoke marijuana with her.
What are you talking about, dude? What the hell? No wonder Grandma doesn't seem too eager to hang around you nowadays, too. Fuck, dude. You gotta be another type of messed up to really push your family, blood family, away like that.
Sorry, I got a text. And, like,
Sometimes that's not the case, but, like, god damn. It sounds like their family is strong and there for each other. Amber has just been kept out from it for a long time because even when her mom was in jail, Grandma and Aunt Tammy were there for her. So it seems at some points they've really been there for each other. And they tried, it seems, with Amber, but I have a feeling their daughter and their sister comes first.
I would decline it and it would upset her. Like, it was bad news. And my mom started to do more drugs. She would drink more often, and I felt like I was the parent all over again. And that's exactly what I escaped when I was 8 years old and I was taken from my parents and put into foster care. And I was...
Listen, I ain't no body language expert, but the head down, looking off to the side and like leaning off to the side, I don't know if she's trying to play some character or something, but it just reads as so like manufactured or contrived, like this story that she's trying to give us. I don't know, because we're hearing about how terrible all of these other people were, but we're hearing very, very little of Amberlynn's actual actions in it.
Back at that again. So from ages 8 to 18, I have the solitude of being in healthy homes, because healthy homes, let me just say healthy homes.
Yeah, weren't you complaining that, oh, those years were so hard on you and that you were in group homes?
I'm gonna talk about my foster care experience, which I will, but they're supposed to be healthy homes. And for the most part, like, I didn't feel crazy tense and just when I...
Huh? That is not the story that she has, spun throughout the years.
I was in foster care. But then when I lived with my real family, like, all of those emotions from when I was a child came flooding back hard.
So she's saying that foster care, it was just easy breezy. She had all her needs taken care of, so there was nothing to worry about. Huh? Amber. I think she's trying to get through the beginning, the lead up to the story so quickly that she's forgetting how much of a sob story she spun out of this in the past. She has to focus all her sob energy on the real main part, which is, I have anxiety panic disorder.
And I was sitting there at the table with my mom and my grandma, and we were just talking about everything. How I don't know where I'm gonna really be living. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be living with my grandma like full time or anything. I didn't know.
Where else would you be?
Like, I just was like dropped into Oklahoma, and then all this like eruption bombs went off, and I was so overwhelmed by it. All of a sudden, while we were sitting there talking, I felt this wave of fear that I've never felt before just sweep over me, and my heart started beating really fast, and like I literally felt
Girl, because what? Was your grandmother thinking, like,
like
oh, I have a feeling grandma probably talked to her and be like, listen, you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. Are you going to start working? Are you going to find your own place? Are you going to move? Like, what's happening?
I was like doing this whole out of body experience. Like I didn't feel like it was me, and like
Because I can almost guarantee you she would have a feeling like this, like a panic would set in being told, okay, what are you going to do? You need to get your life together. I could believe it.
half of my body went numb. I looked at my mom and I said, I'm having a heart attack. Like I literally said that. I was like,
Grandma said, "Hey, Amber, you gotta do something or hit the road." And Amber goes, "I'm having a heart attack." That's just what I'm picturing in my head. But, like, it's such a funny mental image.
I'm having a heart attack, and I started hyperventilating, and like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah, they definitely told her you gotta hit the road, Jack. Is that when you started talking to underage Casey?
I was shaking, and I was like, what is happening to me? And my mom looked at me and literally goes, sweetheart, you're having an anxiety attack. And she told me, go outside for fresh air. And I was like, I can't, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I was so scared. But I ended up listening to her. I went outside and she's like, just walk with me. So we walked down the road to the stop sign and then walked back.
Watch, in an upcoming video in like a week and a half from now or 2 weeks, it's gonna be Amber standing in the parking lot vaping with her mom again, being like, do you remember that time I had that panic attack?
And she's like, just take deep breaths, and it really helped.
How did I?
And that was when my mom opened up to me about how her whole life she had anxiety and she knew exactly how it was. And I never experienced it. I never knew what it was. It was the
Huh? But didn't you say you were diagnosed at a really young age?
first time I ever even really heard of it.
Oh, so you're bullshitting then. Either this story or your diagnosis story is bullshit then, because she's claimed that she was diagnosed at 9. Or whenever she went into the system, which I could believe. I could believe that, because she'd be finally going and checking up with regular physicians and whatnot. But now, she never even heard of it until 18. So which is it, Amber?
Experienced it as an older age. I don't know if it happened to me when I was younger and I just don't remember.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. That's how that works.
So she was like, you know, it might happen again. Just remember to take deep breaths, and it's mind over matter, and like it's all in your head. You can control this. Like she was finally being my mom for a minute there, and
All that to say, hit the road.
I was so grateful for it. Like I don't even have words. And
Oh, yeah? Yeah? You don't act grateful towards your mother, dude. It slips out on camera, and Beck has said, and I believe even Destiny has said, you're mean. And specifically mean to your mom. It was Beck in one of the most recent Q&As that they did, said that you would make your mom cry. Like, ugh.
every day I would have one anxiety attack, and they only
Oh, eye roll.
kept getting worse and worse. One day I was alone.
I'm sorry, if you're getting daily anxiety attacks, then you need to be like somewhere. You gotta be somewhere, because that ain't even healthy to put yourself through, dog. Oh my god. Get it figured out. Respectfully, get it figured out.
And everyone was gone out of the house, and all of a sudden I had this burning.
And you notice Destiny isn't around. I wonder if this is all maybe stories Destiny told her. Or it's probably more so Probably stories Casey told her.
Gnawing feeling in my stomach, and that fear went over me. My left arm was hurting so bad, and I got dizzy, and I don't know what was wrong.
No, that probably actually was a heart attack. She probably has had several minor heart attacks and just didn't know about it.
I called my mom the split second, and I was like, take me to the hospital right now.
What, did your mom have a date or something? Like, and you just had to intervene? Is that what it was?
She's like, what's wrong? And I explained it to her, and she's like, it's just anxiety. And I'm like, no, it's not. Something is wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And I was
Imagine being told it's just anxiety. What if it was something wrong?
freaking out, and she was trying to calm me down. I'm like, no, take me now. Like, so they came and got me, took me to the hospital.
Eye roll. She just wanted to intervene on someone else's day.
And this became an ongoing thing.
Oh, so it became an ongoing thing for you to just go to the hospital for no frickin' reason? Oh, go figure.
I would go to the hospital and they'd say nothing.
You would literally waste their time for an anxiety attack? This is how I know you're goddamn lying. Girl, I know you're dumb, but I don't know as though you're that dumb.
Was wrong. My anxiety got worse.
And plus, how many times have we heard this story over the years? Not too many. Which tells me it's probably not true.
This started making my chest just hurt every day. Every day I thought I was having a heart attack.
No, but like in literally probably a week and a half time, we're definitely going to be hearing all about this. Definitely. It'll make its rounds.
And I would go to the ER at least once every 2 weeks while I was living
I know you're freaking lying. I know you're lying, and if you're not, you should be goddamn ashamed.
in Oklahoma. And I was always telling them, like, I swear I'm having a heart attack. Something's not right. And it was such an irrational thing.
That I know you're lying.
Irrational fear and like thing that was going on in my head, and the doctors always knew, like, oh, it's her again. And they tried to explain to me anxiety causes these crazy symptoms. So I was in a long
I'm giving such hard side eye, y'all. I ain't buying a lick of this.
distance relationship at the time, and I was going
With a minor, correct.
to visit her for a full month in Arizona. I was super excited. It was like a vacation. I was like, this
And that's when she got kicked out.
is gonna be like my medicine that I need. It's gonna heal me. I'm gonna be
Eye roll. And this is exactly how she thinks of these relationships nowadays. What the hell's wrong with her? She doesn't learn a goddamn thing.
happy, and I'm just so excited. I went and
And the thing is, if she wasn't such a terrible partner / terrible person, she would have met her one true love by now. She would have. If she could have got her shit together and like maintained a healthier relationship with Destiny, I mean, shit, it probably would have worked out. But hey,
the second week I was in Arizona, I got a call from my mom saying that my grandma does not want me living there.
Was that after the period of like, okay, she's moved out?
And that I can't go back, and they're not sending me my stuff. And
So she was willing to keep the drug addict, but not the daughter. Okay. Okay. That's not necessarily in your favor, Amberlynn. That's all I'm going to say.
and my whole world crashed. And from that day on, my anxiety attacks became panic attacks, and they became worse. And they would
So is that why you abused Casey so often?
happen at least 5 times a day.
Eye roll, dude. Eye roll. She should have been institutionalized then. Like, it's pushing that point, right? Where it's either that or severely heavily medicated. And I don't think the latter would have been very productive.
To the point where, like, I was
Or This is all a crock of shit, which I'm more inclined to believe.
clenching my jaw and I was shaking and my heart was
Is that why all your teeth are cracked? Sorry.
pounding like so hard. I literally felt like I was dying. And the best way to describe
Oh my god. Shut up. Sorry. Girl, shut up. I know you're fucking lying. Okay.
like the panic attacks is like you feel like you're in this little room and like you can't escape and you literally feel like you're gonna die
She must have read that somewhere.
and like you can't think straight. And
Is this more tales respun from A Child Called It?
I remember my girlfriend at the time and her mom were like trying to calm me down and I couldn't calm down and I like every time I was like call 911, call 911. I need
Oh my fucking god. This is like the worst person to be like in the smoke sesh. Fucking A. That would get so tiring. Oh my god.
the ambulance and I was just
All this for what, Amber? Because you weren't getting enough attention? What was it?
freaking out. Like I would pace back and forth and I was in like confusion and
I was in confusion.
it was crazy and my chest pain was just out of this world and like parts of me would get numb and it just became like so much worse and it became
This is just one of those cases of the boy who cried wolf. And like with how Amberlynn exaggerates her stories, there might be a sliver of truth in this. But I think there's so much fluff and BS to pad it up and make it more like sympathy worthy that like it's so disingenuous.
to the point where every day I thought I was going to have a heart attack. Like I don't know what it was.
I mean, to be fair, I'll give her this. She does still give that same sentiment to this day. That she thinks while she eats, or at least she claims, that when she eats unhealthy food, she sits there and thinks like, is this what's going to kill me? So, maybe.
Heart attack. And this was before I started going to college, so
Before you were forced.
I really isolated myself. Like I was scared to go in public. I remember one time I went to the movie theater and I had to leave. I still to this day actually can barely go to the movies.
Bitch, now you're lying. Now you're lying, because there's video of you back in Crystal era, happily, gleefully going to the movies. Multiple times. There are even Ask FM or Facebook posts back from Casey period of you going to the movies. So, now I know you're lying. Okay. Okay.
I do on occasion. I mean, since I've been with Destiny, I've only gone like one time.
Amber, it's because you don't be fitting. That's why. That's why.
But something about the movie theater, like being in the dark and around a bunch of strangers and like the really loud music and just like the
Now, I ain't gonna take it away from her. Listen, movie theater anxiety, valid. Valid, okay? It's the reason why I will wait most of the time for movies to just be available on demand. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot. But, like, I've shared the story before. I got really spoiled during the pandemic because they kept the drive-in movie theater up by me in Vermont open all year round. So it was heaven. I would go there multiple times a week and just chill, smoke out with a friend, and watch a couple of good frickin' movies. Like, there were even times where we had seen everything else that was playing, so we went to, like, the kids' movie or some shit, and we would just chill. Like, I miss it. Pandemic drive-in movie period era. Iconic.
Enclosed space. That's probably the worst place for me to go.
Well, yeah, girl, you ain't fitting in the seats once again.
And but yeah, when I was in Arizona, like my anxiety was so bad I couldn't even leave. I didn't want to go on a bus. I felt like everyone was gonna shoot.
Now, see, now I know she's lying because she had to take a bus freaking everywhere when she was living with Casey.
Me and kill me. Like it was all my anxiety. And I started forming these like crazy fears, like, oh, I never want to drive. I never want to do this because I literally thought everything was going to kill me.
But eating yourself to 600 pounds is totally okay. All right, I gotcha. Fucking A. What? You said before that the driving thing was because you had gotten into a couple of accidents when you were younger. Now it's, oh, it all started happening once you became an adult? Getting panic attacks around the same time that you were with Casey, who also had panic attacks? Okay. I don't buy it, dude.
And it was scary, and I tried my hardest just to be happy. And like when I was in Oklahoma, they were trying to give me medicine, which was muscle relaxers, and
Oh, girl, maybe you needed it. Fuck. Put her in a K-hole. Could you imagine Amberlynn Kate out on the fucking couch? Dude, she'd be off to the races.
I will never in my life take a muscle relaxer unless I'm like dying. That's
Well, you said you feel like you're dying. Is feel like or actually like, are they really different? I don't know.
a whole other story. So I didn't take the medicine. And then when I was in Arizona, like I knew that's all they were gonna do was try to give me medicine. And
Well, yeah, that seems like something that you might need to figure out, dog. Because your issue, Amber, is that you don't just suffer with this and let that be. You make it everyone else's problem around you. And there's a difference between going to people for support and making it their freaking problem. You make it people's problem. So, yeah.
trying to like heal myself, and I knew it was mind over matter, and that's when I started going to college, and I was hoping it would help.
Wait, what? You're too afraid to take the bus somewhere, dude, or go to the movies, but you think, oh yeah, let me go to a campus. Historically, where the least amount of shootings happen. No, sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that, but like, girl.
Like instead of like listening to my fears so much, like how about
Okay. Listen, I'll validate the sentiment, but I don't buy the story. It's still BS.
just like face them head on? And
No, she was told, bitch, you either get a job or you get an education. Pick one. And she thought, okay, I guess education would be easier.
stop like isolating myself. And honestly, going to college really did help, but like instead of having like 5 panic attacks a day, it went down to like 3, and still nothing was helping. And
I ain't buying it, because wouldn't we have been... Listen, do you guys remember? I know it's been a minute. But in the old Ask FM retro reacts that we were doing a while back before shit just blew up, she was giving us her whole day by day, like point blank breakdown of everything good, everything bad, and everything in between of her days in college. Never once did she talk about a frickin' panic attack. Huh? Ambi, I know you lying.
I was living like in this crazy fear. Like I could be just sitting there with my girlfriend and my friend at the time. Her name was Danielle. Like we were BFFs. It was always the 3 of us for the most part.
Oh, is that the Danielle that maybe then that was like a supporter of hers in the beginning? You remember? There was a Danielle that sent her like perfumes.
Like, I could be sitting there and then we could be just cracking up
And Alicia, do you remember Alicia? Oh my lord.
about something so funny. I could be having the time of my life with no worry in my head, and all of a sudden,
Yeah, as soon as the conversation moves away from Amber, right?
that wave of anxiety would just come over me and I would completely lose it. And
I'm sorry not to laugh at someone's poor, bad, like whatever, mental health. But that would just be kind of like crazy to experience, right? Like you're just laughing, joking, sitting at a table, all having a good time, and then all of a sudden Amberlynn's like busting out in tears. I would be like, did I miss something? Like what?
people just didn't understand. They thought I was like some crazy person.
Well, Amber, that it sounded like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay? It's not crazy. It's not. But it kind of is. It's not crazy if you would have got that ish figured out. But it's kind of crazy to just let that go unchecked. Kinda. But, once again, I also think you're lying.
And living with that every day was
Shit, the battery's low. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry.
so hard. And then I moved to Virginia. And I never, since the minute I crossed that Virginia line.
Okay, so either I'm going to drum it up to you fucking lying, or you had panic attack and anxiety disorder, all so that you didn't have to work. And all of a sudden, magically, when you got your magic free ride from Crystal and her parents, then, oh, it's magically cured. Oh my god. Huh?
Didn't have a single, ever, anxiety or panic attack.
Now, it don't be working like that.
It was so freaking weird. I know living in Arizona, it was extremely unhealthy, which I have talked about that with you guys.
Which all that was lies as well.
And I know a lot of it was because just I was always on edge and this and that. And just because, like, currently,
Because you were an abuser.
I still have not had a panic attack and anxiety attack, I want to say, in 4 years. And it feels.
I'm giving major side eye. This is a load of bull.
Incredible, but it does not take away my anxiety. I still have anxiety. I just.
Now, I believe that. I 1000% believe that Amberlynn definitely has probably really bad anxiety. I'll give her that.
Do not have panic attacks.
It just, pops up in different ways and in different places at different times, which I find coincidental. But, like, we see her out filming herself in public all the freaking time. No issue.
Which if there is a God, if there is.
Which, like, you have blatantly said there is no God, there's no heaven, there's none of that. Why are we calling to the magical what ifs now?
Hire somebody. I pray I will never in my life get them again. And I don't think.
She claims later on that she did get them again, but I don't know.
Anyone should experience them. Like, it is.
This is also, like I said, around the time that Destiny was having panic attacks because of their fighting. So,
It's horrible. And for everybody, they're different. Like, I know some people.
Which is why I want to be, like, trepidatious about it. But at the same time, knowing Amberlynn, like, I think it's a safer bet to call bull than to just take it as word.
Just experience, like, butterfly feelings. Like, I wish that was me, but for you, that's your worst. And I'm sorry you have to go through that. But like, what I had to go through was traumatizing, and still to this day, I get scared because I still have anxiety, which
See, that I believe. I believe she has generalized anxiety. Do I think it's to this level? No.
some of you are confused. Like, okay, you have anxiety, but you don't get the panic attacks. I don't understand what you're talking about. I still get the wave of anxiety. That is what I have called it since I have gotten it since the age of 18, which was 7 years.
See, she didn't know what to say. Nah. And she said, even before this video, she said that she was diagnosed at whatever age with at least anxiety and depression. So, yeah.
Ago, that is what I call it. It is, to me, a wave goes over me, and then I get the panic attack. Now, for the last 4 years, I get the wave, but there's no panic attack.
Okay, well, maybe you still need to work on that wave thing.
And it's still just as scary because it's like, wonder if one day I do get that like rush of such anxiety and then I do get a panic attack. I don't know how Destiny would ever be able to handle me in that sort of way. It's scary. I can't even handle myself. I know anxiety and panic is very false. Like, it's true that if you take deep breaths and you really just focus, like you completely just try your hardest to shut it off, and you just focus and breathe, you calm yourself down because it is mind over matter. And I don't know how my panic attack stopped. I think I was just in such like a better space in Virginia to where it just naturally went away, and it's crazy. It's honestly nuts. And I'm just so grateful for it though. And if you guys experience panic, anxiety, the actual attacks, just know that you're not alone. Trust me. A lot more people experience it than I even realized.
Okay.
I have known quite a few people who...
Sorry, I went quiet there for a second. I was reading something. It was important. I apologize. I'm bad.
also can relate to what I have been through. And I think a lot of the time that's why when someone with anxiety and panic goes into the ER, they're able to key that right away, that that's all that someone's dealing with.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Wow. Amberlynn discovers that doctors know what they're doing. Oh.
And it just feels really good to not have to deal with that anymore because it ruined me for like 4 years. It honestly did.
See, I just don't know if I buy it. I don't know if I do. Listen, one of my friends, good Judy of mine, she used to get bad. It was more anxiety attacks, I would say, not necessarily panic. It wasn't so bad that like she couldn't do anything, but like you could tell when like she just kind of went back into her head and it was starting to kind of set in a little bit. But it only ever happened when she was heavily smoking weed. And so we were like, dude, stop smoking weed. And it went away. So, I mean, maybe. But we know our girly plop here loves to smoke. So, I don't think it was that. If anything, she probably could have used a doobie or two.
I was a hot mess. And I feel like if I was capable of kind of overpassing that and like beating it like naturally, I feel like anybody can.
Now I know you're fucking lying. Now I know you're lying about this. There ain't no way this happened. And if it did, why would you have this sentiment about it? It can just go away on its own, just magically. Yeah, no, that totally happens. Aww. Oh my god, Amber.
And if you guys ever need anyone to talk to, just really hit me up in a comment.
Ew, yeah, don't go to Amber.
I don't get messages because I do not have a laptop, so I cannot see my messages.
You used to be able to message on YouTube, couldn't you? I think that was a thing back in the day.
I'm hoping one day I get a laptop so I can.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You and Destiny broke yours.
But honestly, I am here. You can find me on Instagram.
Or no, she just turned over her other one. She pawned that off for no reason. It worked just fine. She just didn't like it.
Find me on Snapchat. I have been there. I know what you're going through. I promise. And it is terrible.
Or honestly, the crazy thing is she was probably pawning off a lot of stuff so that they could afford to go out to eat. Because they would go to the pawn shop or whatever, drop something off, and then they would go out to eat in the next clip. Ambi, that is straight up addict behavior. And I've never seen someone go that far for food. Like, drugs? Yeah, I could see that. Food though, dude? Like, that's crazy.
Terrifying, but the best I can describe it is I don't want to downgrade nothing that you guys are going through, but the best way is like it's not real.
Okay. She's not necessarily wrong. But there are many cases where the power of persuasion of your own brain is not enough. I get that.
It's kind of like a fake shark coming at you instead of a real shark. You can make that fake shark go away. You can, and I promise you.
Where'd she pick all this up if she didn't get any help for it and it all just magically went away? Right? Right?
It's possible. And if you need to, you can see therapists, you can get help, you can take medicine, and just, you're strong, and I have faith in you. So that is like just a short form, even though it seems super long.
She must have been getting a lot of heat around this point if she's dropping all of this on us. Huh? This is kind of crazy.
Short form of what I experienced when I had anxiety. Still do, but you know what I mean. So, thank you guys for watching. I know this was kind of like a deep video, and it is really hard to kind of portray what I did go through, but I tried my hardest.
Yeah, it's hard to portray when you didn't actually go through it.
And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Good lord. That that was definitely fishy, right? It's not just me. That was definitely fishy. There's some points where I was like, okay, I hear you there. And then other times where it just seems too outlandish. I don't know, though. I don't know. I'm feeling like a comfort movie, but the comfort movie that I have in mind is not a very comforting movie, mind you. Y'all know we've talked about it before on here. The movie/book. It's a really good book also. It is for young adults, mind you, so there's that, but it's still really good. Speak, and the movie has Kristen Stewart in it. I would say it's definitely before Twilight and before The Messengers. If you know, you know. She was younger in this one, like early high school, middle school. It's a triggering story. I don't know why it comforts me, though. It's a really good movie and a really good book, but it is a little triggering. But I don't know why. I just want to watch it. I love the art teacher in it. Anyways, a little glimpse of my evening here. No, I was going to sit down and actually film the substance review. Was going to finally start that. I'm sorry. So, yada yada. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning on in. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Like and subscribe, become a tar. And yeah, I hope everyone stays warm, stays cool, whichever you need. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.